But that was one thing that was interesting to me in Virginia. They just recently changed the law where I think you have to enter your driver's license to watch porn now.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Now they know exactly who's watching porn.
They want
Well, that's good if you're watching some freak shit. You know, if you're into, you know, it's like, I don't know. You don't want to give the government the ability to spy on you.
Yeah.
You just don't. And you don't want to give, because the government is just humans. We like to think of the government as being some all-powerful, all-moral, all-ethical entity that controls us in a perfect and very robust and well-considered way. But that's not real.
Yeah.
The reality is it's human beings like you and like me and like Jamie. People that get to dictate what other people can and can't do.
Yeah.
And that's where shit gets weird.
Yeah, and a lot of people I think go into government with good intentions, but it's like anything else. Once I think you get in the mix, it's like things change, and you have to go with the flow and sort of agree on things that maybe your heart doesn't necessarily agree with, and so that's why you see politicians constantly changing narratives depending on like the political climate. And so yeah, it's kind of created this big disconnect between people like you and I and people like you and I that are in government, because they're not necessarily saying what they feel or what they think. They're like, let me keep my stripes just like everybody else's so I don't stand out, you know? Like
yes, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of
there's too much money tied up in politics. Too much bribe and extortion and slap on the back deals and stuff that should never be allowed to happen. Like yeah, that's what's really created a lot of the dishonesty within it.
There's a bunch of decisions that got made a long time ago that really fucked us. And one of them was when they let drug companies advertise on television. That's just like there's only 2 countries in the world that allow that.
Really?
The United States and New Zealand. Yeah, and I think it was 97. Was it 97 when they allowed that?
Yeah, well, it's funny because, yeah, you watch the commercial, and then at the end, it's like,
side effects,
it's the best thing in the world. You get to that last 20 seconds, you're like, oh, I don't know about that.
I know, you're at a cookout, and everything looks great. Next thing you know, your asshole is fucking spraying blood, and you're suicidal. Yeah, like, what?
Yeah, like, I mean.
And they say it all so fast. This is how, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, big
suicidal
pharma,
thoughts,
I guess, right?
Suicidal ideation. Rectal bleeding.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like, fortunately, at this point in my life, I haven't been on many medications, but I went on a run with SSRIs, and I can tell you for me, it's like the last 20 seconds applied more than the first 2 minutes of the commercial. Like, I didn't find any benefit in that. And it's, yeah, it's, I don't know. I think there's alternatives to pharmacy medicine in a lot of cases, like, maybe even if it's just habits, you know, like it's okay to prescribe a medication to keep somebody on course. Or like, you know, for example, like I've got a relative of mine, I won't call him out, but he won't change the way he eats at all, but he'll take whatever medications every day to keep his you know, keep the diabetes away and keep his blood pressure low and all that. But it's like, there should be more integration of like, hey, maybe this is like a plan of what you should do to go along with this medicine. Ideally, eventually it's like they don't want you to really get off the medicine, though. If anything, they want you to keep taking it, right? So like, yeah, it's weird. It is weird that it's almost advertised like it's a soda or a car or something, you know?
Well, it's weird that, you know, people we're so kind of like dependent on other people to take care of us that we would rather go somewhere and get some medication than fix our life, than fix your lifestyle choices. And we've been programmed to sort of think that there's solutions for you out there. Go get those solutions. That's not a solution. Like, internally, you need to reconsider like what you're doing to your actual physical body. Like, what are you doing to your physical body?
Yeah.
Like, are you giving your physical body the exercise that it deserves to be robust and healthy? If you're not, you should. Are you eating food that's nutritious? If you're not, you should. You know,
well, and how do you do? I mean, how do you do that in today's time anyway? If you don't have a lot of money, like,
well, you can exercise.
Nutritious
for sure.
food. Oh, exercise certainly, yeah. But
there's a way to eat nutritious food on a budget, but you have to be diligent. You know, and the problem is fast food and food deserts. But if you have a supermarket, if there's a supermarket where you live, then you can get food. And if the supermarket has food, you can get healthy food. And it's not that much more expensive. Even people that go on a carnivore diet. I know people that go on a carnivore diet on a budget, and they go to Costco and get a big tube of ground beef, and they freeze a lot of it, and they cook a bunch of it like in portions.
Yeah.
You know,
I know, yeah, and that's a lot better than the crap from the store, but even it's not, like, I mean, you read about, I mean, just in the part of the country I'm at, we've got, really close family of ours that farms. The father and the son have both died from cancer from what they've been, from the commercial agriculture they've been in spraying and all and all that stuff ends up in the food. And I've read about microplastics in the food. Like you go and buy a tub of ground beef. Like how much plastic was in the food that of all the bags of crap that they threw in there to feed the animals with. It is really, I think, the only way to in this time in the area we're in, unless you're going to go buy really expensive food out of like some fancy smancy grocery store that I can't spell the name of. It's like you're really better off going to somebody local and buying it direct, like buying it almost straight from the farmer.
Well, certainly if you have an organic farm near you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But, yeah, pesticides and herbicides are a real deal. Atrazine, Alex Jones famously said, they're turning the frogs gay. But they are. They're making them hermaphrodites. They're making them switch sexes. I mean, atrazine is a very potent endocrine disruptor, and it's a fertilizer, Or is it a pesticide? Pesticide. One of those. I think it's a pesticide.
Something needs to be done about it.
But there's a lot of that shit that they spray on food. Something like 90+% of people tested have glyphosate in their blood.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, that is an herbicide that they spray on stuff to keep
so
weeds
to
from
me,
growing
it's
on
like you can definitely eat healthy, but even then, like a lot of the food today isn't very healthy, just because of